Hey guys, Harris here. This is the Logitech Stream Cam. It shoots in 1080p 60. It costs about $180 when it's not being price gouged during quarantine. And it's okay. This is the GoPro Hero 3 Plus that I got on eBay for about 40 bucks. And if you combine that with a cam link and a micro HDMI cable, it ends up being $180. So now we have two questions to answer. One, obviously, which one looks better? The brand spanking new webcam that just hit the market, or the used GoPro from 2013? And two, if I can buy this for the same price that I can buy this, and whenever I'm ready to upgrade to a replaceable lens camera like the Sony a5100 here, I can continue to use the $130 cam link, essentially saving the 2/3 of the original purchase. Why would I ever buy a webcam? Super important note for you guys rushing to the comment section right now, ready to shout, but the cam link is being price gouged right now and I can't find it for less than $400. I hear you. I was promised by Elgato that these would be in stock by the time this video came out, so don't make me a liar, Elgato. And by the way, this video is sponsored by the Elgato Cam Link 4K, a fantastic little streamlined capture card that'll turn your DSLR or mirrorless camera into a fantastic webcam for your live streams. And it'll capture either 1080 60 or 4K 30. It does both. It works on both Mac and PC, so whatever computer you have will recognize it as a webcam, so you can use it for Skype calls, Zoom calls, OnlyFans, really whatever you want. Pick up one today in the link in the description down below. Also, if you have further questions about this after this video, I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday on Twitch. Link to that in the description down below. Come hang out. It'll be a good time. We'll talk about webcams, maybe. If you've been around long enough, you know that I'm kind of changing my tone on this. I've had viewers ask me for a long time now if they should buy a GoPro as their webcam, and my answer is usually no. They cost like $350 and they're designed to be outdoor action cameras, not low light indoor cameras. At that price point, it makes much more sense to save up an extra $50 to $100 and pick up a Sony a5100. But with how cheap you're able to find a used GoPro on eBay or on Craigslist nowadays, and with the entire webcam industry sitting in the corner eating glue, this could be pretty amazing. But let's stop talking about it and let's check it out over here. I'm gonna set these up at my stream setup and let's take a look at differences in quality and image features between the two things, like resolutions, field of view, etc. And then for fun, we'll compare it to a professional wide angle setup just so you can kind of see where it lies in the whole equation. All right, you ready to see both cameras? Let's start with the Stream Cam right here. The first thing I'm sure you noticed is how zoomed in it gets. We've talked about that a lot. The field of view of the Logitech Stream Cam is only 78 degrees. You can go for a Logitech Brio, and we've compared the two before, and it'll open up to 90 degrees. However, the coloring is way off. I think the color science and just the image quality of the Logitech Stream Cam is significantly better. I tried to do some color correction on both, just a little bit. The Logitech mostly in their own software. You can see there are spots on my head where I'm a little overexposed, and there's really nothing you can do to change that. If I go into color correction and try to turn it down, it brings down all the brightness, the gamma, but this spot is still overexposed. You can't un-overexpose something once it's been overexposed. So I tried adjusting it in the software, I tried adjusting it in OBS, and it's just the way it is. But overall, it's a good image. I did a full review on this camera. You can click up here or in the description below if you want to see that review. My qualms with this camera isn't so much the raw image quality, because for a webcam it's pretty good. To illustrate my qualms, let's jump over to the GoPro. Yeah, how about that? You want to see that jump one more time? Stream Cam, GoPro. Stream Cam, GoPro. And while the first thing you probably noticed is the width, and we'll get to that, I wanted to mention first the color depth of this camera, because to me that's a lot more important. In these dark spots on my head, you're getting a lot more detail, versus in here, once it gets too dark, it just kind of gets blurry and just kind of blackens out, while the bright spots overexpose. You don't have as much color depth, you don't have as much dynamic range. Versus on this, you can see all the detail across my face. You don't see that big old shiny spot here because it doesn't actually exist. And then In the darker spots here, you still have all that detail. I also think the colors are a lot more accurate on this camera. My skin looks a lot more natural. But getting to the field of view, just a reminder, the Logitech Stream Cam here is a 78-degree field of view, whereas the GoPro here, I have it written down, hold on. The GoPro here on its wide settings is 134 degrees. So I get a lot of people asking, what's a really great wide angle webcam? Wide angles are obviously a personal preference choice of mine, but they're also a personal preference choice of most streamers. This wide angle in general looks better for streaming than a close-up of your face. And I never really have an answer for them because other than the Logitech Brio, which is again 90 degrees, the only other wider camera is this Avermedia one that is a fantastic camera, but I still don't think they've released it yet. And it's basically a gaming version of their $400 enterprise webcam. So I don't know how much this is gonna cost if they actually release the gaming version. This is an amazing option for a wide angle webcam. And clearly this test has shown the advantages of the GoPro over the Stream Cam. However, I do want to make sure I'm pointing out the strengths and weaknesses of both options. So some of the issues I had with the GoPro that you should know about. This is not the Hero 3 Plus that I showed you before. This is the Hero 3 Plus that I showed you before. This is actually a Hero 4. And the reason I'm using the Hero 4 is because last night I tested both of these. By the way, the Hero 4 is about $10 to $15 more, depending on how patient you are looking at eBay. But I tested these both last night. I had some issues getting them both started, but I did get them both working fine after a couple minutes. And I didn't notice any image quality difference between the two. They both looked fantastic. However, this morning, today, when I plugged in the Hero 3 Plus, I couldn't get it working in full screen. I tried everything for like 30 minutes and I gotta go live in like an hour. I don't have time for that. I spent 30 minutes trying to get this thing working and it just wouldn't send a 1080p signal over HDMI. I had the same issue last night, but when I adjusted the settings a little bit, it flipped over. Couldn't get it to do that today. So just know if you're going with a GoPro from 7 years ago, you might have some hiccups, some software hiccups, some hardware hiccups. It's much more likely than a camera that was just released a couple months ago. So keep that in mind moving forward. That is just kind of an inevitability using old used tech compared to new tech. This isn't exactly what the GoPro was designed for. It's just what it's capable of. However, it should be said that there were a couple differences. One, the Hero 4 can go up to 4K 30, whereas the 3 Plus was capped at 1080 60, which I prefer for a stream anyway. However, the Hero 4 does give you extra image customization options like custom white balance or exposure options. So just important notes between the two cameras moving forward. But man, that is a stark contrast in image quality. And I don't know, it might just be me, but I feel like the Stream Cam makes my neck look a little bit fatter. Maybe it's just because it's zoomed in on it. That used to not be there. What happened? What happened to that? And by the way, if you don't like the super wide angle on the Hero 4, I have it set at its widest. You can bring it down to a medium setting, which is 107 degrees. Still considerably higher than 78 degrees of the Stream Cam. However, one of the advantages of having something super wide like this is when you move to your face cam on the smaller screen, you can actually punch in. You don't need that full 1080p when you're only using a fraction of the screen. So you use the super wide for your intermission screen and you punch in for your camera scene and you get the best of both worlds. And then again, the main advantage of this is when you're ready to upgrade, you already have the cam link. You don't have to buy a new one. All you're doing is throwing out the $55 GoPro, or you can continue using the GoPro for outdoor vlogging or whatever you want, rather than upgrading from a webcam where you basically have to toss the entire thing and it's useless now. You can keep the cam link, you can keep the same HDMI cable. All you have to do is swap out the camera and you got a solid upgrade. But in the end, it's kind of on you. And I feel like the main decision here is how confident are you that you can get it working every stream? And that is a fair question if you ask me, but I'm going to jump back to the main camera here and say, if you have any other questions, maybe something I missed, I do hope this was helpful, but you can jump into my stream. Again, I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday on Twitch, link in the description down below. Or if you want to talk with other people who might use a GoPro as a webcam and maybe have some experience, feel free to jump in the Discord. We got about 60,000 members in there. Plenty of them would be happy to help you out and get to know some people who might be trying to do the same things you are. But guys, I hope that helped. I'm going to go live right now. And as always, happy streaming.
One enemy remaining. trick shot.
Lamau. Good job. This guy's
Oh
nice.
my gosh, you are cracked.
Yeah, baby.
Clutch.